Let's call this meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Bertel.
Here.
Herrick.
Here.
Fitzgerald.
Here.
Peeler.
Here.
And Cramblett. Here.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilman Irving.
Second.
He was down in Marietta late this afternoon and wasn't going to make it back in time.
Please stand for the prayer. Let us
Pray, O Lord, that when we serve your people in public office, may have your blessing and guidance on our deliberations and decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening will be just and beneficial to the people whom we serve.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Yes.
We're going to take a roll call now.
Herrick.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Peeler. Cramblett. Bertel.
Abstain.
We have no minutes from previous meetings, but as I said in our reorganization meeting, Mr. Huggins, Ms. Tammy, that I would like the minutes from the previous meetings to be done by Friday of the meeting, before the meeting, so the council, they'll be in their mailbox so they could go over it. So when they come in here on a Tuesday, that we could go have any approvals or adjustments to it. Any petitions or communications? Okay, I got a few things. First of all, I'd like to welcome you, Ms. Cramblett, council, on behalf of council, you know,
Thank you.
and we appreciate your involvement, and you'll enjoy it.
I hope so.
And another thing that I'm going to have some changes on here is when we go to the committees, instead of asking each individual committee if they have anything, I'll say that any reports from the committee, and the committee chairman will raise his hand or her hand and speak up if they have anything. If that committee person is on a committee, they'll meet with their chairman and schedule a meeting. That way we'll go through it, and we'll have, if you have instead of bringing up the whole council, bring it up to your committee, and then they will bring it to council. Any questions on that? Okay. Go ahead, Bob. It's up to you.
Glad to see you all back, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, like I said, I hope. Hope you hope.
We hope.
So, that's what you ask for sometimes, especially I know. Update on mine, we got, still looking for that magical truck that we weren't able to get last time. They actually have the contracts out. And Valley Ford got the contract again, so I'm talking to her. She doesn't know if she has this truck in stock again. She knows she has to build it, whatever else. Tim and I have been working on that, but we definitely need another truck, so.
And what department's this going to, Bob?
All three. It's going to go to service department, but all three are going to pay for it because they would be using it.
How long ago did we buy that last truck for the service department? Like 3 years ago?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
It was definitely since we've been here, though, right?
Yes. Why? Is
I was
there a question?
Well, no, I was just, I had thought that the one that we purchased 3 years ago, I didn't think it was that old, or
I'd have to actually take a look. The last one we purchased.
I was just kind of curious.
I'll take a look. Well, I can tell you right now, we definitely need a truck though. Down there with the drainage at the ball field over there, you know, Timmy and Kenny Mullins and a couple other folks have been really working very hard. They got the catch basin installed, and we're still working for that because Indian Creek's going to be using that, and once again, our show place basically is Aracoma Park, but yeah, that place could be a show place also. And we get that fixed up real nice over there. I got about 5,000 invested in it, in materials right now, but as far as time-wise, I don't know how much time invested in it, but, you know, I think that we should work on that and make that a very nice venue over there. Working on energy savings ideas with both wastewater treatment plant and a water treatment plant. I have not really followed up on that yet, but I will let you know what I'm thinking about, because we spent a lot of money on power down there, electricity especially.
Smitty, you want me to get the big red for AP?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it might not be looking at your folks, though. Maybe looking at something else.
Let me just see what you're looking at.
Yeah, you know,
Do it or not.
definitely gotta take a look at it, because we're spending a lot of money down there. But of course, we're pumping out a lot of water now, so, you know, that comes with the game. Still looking at, putting another catch basin upon Logan to divert that water out of there from behind the stage. What do you do, Bob? Dowler and Associates, they did do their survey. Waiting for the final report. I actually called them today. They will give me the final report next week. It looked like the wall was outside initially. We will find out. I actually talked to the lady and said, you know, would he be able to come in and talk to us if we need him to come in? Because I know you had some questions about where the pins were put and things like that.
I mean, I think a
So-
few of the neighbors have questions
Yeah.
about some of the pins up there. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of them don't make sense. As
The whole
to,
neighborhood, not just the Queens.
yeah, there was pins
It
that were there for a lot of years,
Yeah.
and they just kind of ignored.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, if you
everybody
could
here-
explain them, that would help.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know how they do the survey, I honestly don't. So I'm not even gonna try.
If the survey holds up, they're taking a corner of this house out, the garage, her front of her garage, and 6 foot of Mr. Kovach's property. The pins, Smitty, are in the middle of the alley.
Okay.
When Mr. Peeler died, was he in Granite?
Grandfather.
There his grandfather died. Pittsburgh people came down to survey.
Who did?
The Pittsburgh people, they were from Pittsburgh.
So if you know who that might have been, I could probably find a survey.
I don't know that.
It would probably be on file at the courthouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But anyway, they were putting the pins in the middle of the alley. At that time, we questioned them, why are you putting these pins in the middle of the alley? That's the property lines. So the alleyway goes all the way down into Clifton.
Okay,
From the top of the hill, why they started at the top of the hill, I can't answer that question. They brought everything up. I looked for the pins that were, Adam and I had seen there for years. They're not there. The pins that were on the corner where his steps are not there. Where they went, I can't tell you. But he'll verify, him, his grandfather, and I, him. Watched them put the pins in there. They're not there now. They're up in the middle of the alley. I even questioned the guy, when he was there surveying the alley, I said, listen, I said, I can tell you now, these ain't right.
okay.
The alley goes from his garage, he goes up into his house, and then out. They was already hit his house.
That would take out the corner of my house
I mean, in
and
terms,
have, like, 6 inches.
I mean, I would invite council, anybody to go up there and look and tell me that.
I know, it looked odd to me when I was
If
up there.
this is gonna be a safety thing, then we need council up there looking at this, because I'm gonna tell you, they start tearing out the corner of the house, there's air conditioning out, tearing these people's garage out, you're gonna have war. And it's, well, the whole neighborhood's up in arms about it right now. That's why we're here tonight.
Okay.
And Mr. Kovach said he was sick, couldn't make it, and Jennifer lives right next door, and my son is, and I mean, I invite anybody up there to take a serious look at it and tell me how safe you think this is gonna be.
No, I'll have him in here to explain it. If we're not satisfied with it, if the parties aren't satisfied with it,
Are you
all
satisfied?
I can say is we get another surveyor. I mean,
I don't understand
know.
some of the pins. I just need an explanation. Like I said, I'm not a surveyor, but they don't look right to me. Yeah, they don't look right to me.
Wouldn't there be a common spot to start out in,
The
like
problem
from the
is-
middle of the road or something?
This-
I didn't do
Was
survey,
there.
I don't know.
The surveyor was there, said that there are 3 different pinpoints and none of them match any of them. He said you can take a pinpoint here and you go there and you'll find a pin. You go there, you'll find a pin. How do you know which is the major pin? I don't know.
Sure, it'd be nice if we could find something on record in that last surveys.
I mean, I went to the courthouse.
I know you've been digging, so I mean, if anybody.
Oh, I didn't look at any like last surveys.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't looked at anything like that.
I-
He's,
Oh,
I mean, we
no,
go to
was that
court, I know
anything?
surveys are on file at the courthouse. I mean,
Well,
I
how
used
long
up
has
to
Kathy been gone?
2014.
Okay, that's
So
what I read.
they came down to the survey
Yeah,
then?
yeah, they surveyed it because they were selling the property.
They sold the garage apartment and the red house. You know,
And they're the
like I
ones
did.
who put the pins in the middle of the alley, and that's the ones that these guys are going off of. It's in the middle of the alley.
And you say those pins should be there or shouldn't
No,
be
they
there?
shouldn't be there.
And that's a surveyor before them did that,
Right. But that's the one, that's the pins that these surveyors went
went
off
off of.
Right.
Should have been nice if we'd corrected it probably back then.
I questioned it. They told me when his grandfather passed away, I said to him, I said, I don't know. He said, this is just point markers that we're gonna go off of. Okay, take the pins back out. They're still there today.
Pap always said the wall was never ours. That's what started the whole dispute as it was. Yeah, you know how Pap was. And I explained it to all them. Look, if that was our wall, Pap would have fixed it back in 1960. You know what I mean? Pap would have had it fixed a long time ago, the way he was.
Well,
But
the whole thing is now is, that your sister insists that she's gonna scrap the thing, no matter what. If you go up there right now, she's tore the sidewalk out, further up in the yard. Why? I can't answer that question.
you mean around the bend? You mean?
No,
No.
on the main street. You go up there right now.
Oh,
there's
okay,
bricks.
okay.
But anyway.
I know what you mean.
Well, maybe what I would like to do is maybe try to get you folks back together
And
and
that's,
talk about this again and do away with this whole thing, and maybe we can just get this straightened out,
Oh, whatever.
you know? Because I don't know if we're ever gonna get it straight.
Right.
If those pins were there originally, and that's how they did this
Yeah.
survey. I don't know how far back we can go
Yeah.
with folklore, you know what I'm saying? I understand what goes on,
Yeah.
but maybe I could get these families together, and then we could look at doing something with this wall and taking care of this wall, and then come into an agreement with, hey, let's treat each other okay here. Because that would solve this whole problem, folks.
oh, well, I mean,
That'll solve this whole problem, and, you know, there's no reason to keep arguing about it and keep spending money on it, because I don't think anybody's gonna get their way out of this. I really don't.
and the whole thing was, you just cut that grass for the last 40 years.
I understand.
But you know who she says supposed to do it? You.
Let's not go and start pointing fingers.
I know.
I understand what you've done.
I know, but
I understand what
that's
you
where
guys
it is,
want,
Vinny.
and I think that we gotta sit down, because I don't wanna waste any more money on this.
Right.
And I think that we can come to an agreement with the two families here and say, okay, we will help you with this wall, we will put a drain and whatever else. She's gonna have to say, okay, you know, I'm not gonna do anything with this property over here and throw anything on whatever else. We definitely can, you know, treat each other like human beings here and get this thing taken care of and get on with our lives.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I know she's concerned about, you know, the accessibility, you know, in the alley, around the bend with the steps and all that. And,
Well,
well, I think that that's probably not gonna get resolved, and we're just gonna have to say,
I mean,
okay,
it is,
because,
it's a 15-foot alley, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact, there's no disputing that. That's not, regardless of how you do pins, it's a 15-foot alley.
but I
all the
think
way
it's
down.
gonna be a give
There was
and
an
take.
emergency call 2 nights ago.
Not to interrupt, but we'll not prolong this here.
Okay.
Let's get both parties together,
It's only 10 foot
talk
down.
about it, and get it.
It's a 15-foot alley all the way
We're not
down.
gonna do
There's
this.
gonna,
Go to the
okay,
courthouse. I have maps from the
you're right.
courthouse that
I'm
approve
talking
that.
about the asphalt.
Oh, I don't care what the asphalt is, it should be a
Hold on.
15-foot alley.
All right.
I don't care if there's 2 feet of asphalt, it's a 15-foot alley.
Adam,
Let's move on, and like I said,
together.
I will try to be the mediator here, because I really think that we can get somewhere, I really
Yeah,
do,
yeah, that's
you know,
fine.
I really do. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere the way we're going now, honestly. I really don't.
Well,
I mean,
there's pins that have been there for over 100 years that a lot of that was set off
But
of.
where are they? That's the question.
It's right where Timmy knows where it is. Timmy has seen it years ago. Timmy
But-
sat
but-
on that wall with my grandfather and Benny and everybody. Timmy knows where it
So
is.
they know where those pins are at?
Where the original one was, yeah. Everybody knows where it's at. It's sitting right there, and you can see the head of it.
Okay. Okay. So like I said, I know that, like I said, we'll try to do something here, guys. Sign resolution, of course, closing the landfill. I think some folks also are getting stuff in the mail about the energy aggregate.
Yeah, I got something for the gas one, and
Yeah.
I had a note, it's Constellation, right?
Yeah, I think that's who we end up going over with.
Okay.
What happens is, once we moved over to another provider, they send a letter out to everybody, okay, now, and tells them that, hey, I'm your new provider. You got 21 days to opt out if you want to, you don't have to take it. So after that 21 days, then your energy company comes in. Columbia Gas, AEP, they send out another one. okay, which confuses
People.
the people,
Everybody.
that really
I got
does.
calls on that,
And it
yeah.
says, okay, you're in this, aggregation, you got 5 days if you wanna opt out of it. So we're gonna try to put something up on our website explaining this, because really, if you're in it, if you got out of it after the 21 days, you're not receiving anything from the power company, but it's by law they have to do that. They have to send that out, okay? I think it's terrible that they do it, because it confuses people, and I think people get scared, they do opt out, and that way they keep their customers,
Yeah.
okay? And that's how they keep customers.
I just
I
got
was
the
talking
one
to
from
Scott.
Columbia Gas. It was
Yeah.
like a postcard.
I know, it's a postcard.
And it's gonna be
Exactly.
effective 1/24
Yep,
is
yep.
when the changeover happens.
Talked to Scott, and he said, we lose a lot of customers because of that. Because people get confused and they say, well, I want to opt out of this. I don't want that. I already have a supplier over here. I don't need you guys. I want to opt out of this.
Right.
They don't realize it's basically, those are both your suppliers, you know. Anyhow, we will try to get something up real quick, and even on Facebook or on positive page, whatever, to explain that. We did get some good news from the High Environmental Protection Agency. We have been approved. Our long-term control plan has been approved, the addendum to it has been approved, everything's kind of been approved. Long time in coming, but the storm sewer separation will start to take place. And like I said before, it's great because I think that we're gonna get it. I want to throw this figure out there, I think we'll probably get it done for less than $5 million. So I was looking at 6 to possibly 5 million. So we got $250,000 grant against it. And, the estimates before with tearing up the roads and everything was probably close to 15 to 17 million to do it. So that's good for a village. Another thing, we don't get to really brag too much because we actually get thanked sometimes, but Soft Type Credit Union, they had an issue in their parking lot, and Timmy went up there and kind of took care of it. We just wanted to find out where the drain was going, and we took care of it, so we got to thank you for it. So I think that's kind of all I have.
Nice job on the grand jury indictment for the soft type robber.
He's in custody.
All right, anything from you, Jimmy?
Jimmy. Finishing up probably another week with the estimated revenue. We have to send that to the county, get approved, come back. Probably looking at our first finance meeting for the budget on February the 6th, a Thursday. We'll have 8 Thursdays in a row we can do it, as long as it takes us to get it done. So that would be the first available date. You want to go to 6 o'clock?
You said the 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, February. So it gives us 8 Thursdays to hammer it out. That should be more than budget.
Ernie, anything from you?
Nothing different right now. Still waiting to hear on the oil and gas, case. Basically, it's in the Court of Appeals. We did win at the lower level. It's in the Court of Appeals, and that probably won't be decided for several months.
Mayor, one quick question.
Yeah.
Question for Ernie, mentioning Court of Appeals. Years ago when we had to, the Susanna and Elizabeth streets, remember, I thought you did a good job at that when we were in court, and then through appeal, they beat us on that, remember, and they were able to,
You mean Smith?
Smith was able to take that over at appeal. Well, he's made no effort with that land. I mean, is there anything we could do as far as coming back years later saying, hey,
Not really, no. He won the case in court because basically they ruled that we had abandoned those streets.
yeah,
That's what the Court of Appeals.
Sounds like he did
The
too.
only option we would have had at the time, and it would have been expensive and fruitless, was to try to appeal this Ohio Supreme Court. But
yeah.
that was going to be probably cost you as much as the property was
Yeah,
worth.
it's just I thought, we did so well that day, and they actually were in our favor that day. Everything made sense, and then through appeal, they overruled us and gave it to him, and now he's just sitting on it,
Yeah.
doing nothing whatsoever.
Which is-
So
depending on what I expected.
Yeah, right,
If
right,
it gets a big offer.
yeah, yeah.
Is that it, Adam?
That's good, thanks,
All
man.
right, thank you. Water and sewer, Wayne.
Waking up.
That's the one, you gave the mayor one, there should be one up on the desk up there. 2 different pages, 2 separate pages.
Yeah,
Do you have any? Do you have a copy? I could make a copy for you afterwards, just to help you with the minutes and things. Yeah.
The annual sludge report for 2019, that was turned into the EPA. The chlorine contact tank was cleaned out.
This is wastewater, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were up at Champ's house, up the Center Avenue, we dye tested his sewer line, confirmed it was one to our main. Septic tank right now is not working. There was a sump up in his basement that was pumping from the septic tank into the sanitary line. And then we ran a back truck and opened it up. You're going to talk about this today. Yeah. And then related to that, at the bottom of the page, Kyle got Ohio Rural Water to come and do a free camera survey of the line. So we went in about 96 feet, and there was a belly close to the manhole that maybe causing some backup. The line is really level, so it's not getting a real good drop. But, so he's here tonight. I didn't know if he had anything, if you had anything you wanted to say, but.
Yeah, I'm just going to request some records from back from 1975 from a council meeting about this line in the septic tank. The city council put out in 1975.
What did they put out, Champ?
City council made a decision on when they had them split the lines back in 1975, 74, May 9th. And they put out a decision on who was responsible for what lines and where the lines went. And of course, somehow the records got misplaced, whatever. And I'm looking for a copy of the minutes of that.
Who was on council then, do we know? I think you probably have a better chance of finding somebody who was on council who kept.
Minutes.
That stuff.
You don't think there are any records?
Oh, I think there should be records here, is there?
Downstairs, who knows what's downstairs?
We've had so many floods down there.
I don't know if they're downstairs or where they
Yeah,
are.
I mean, it's-
45 years ago,
Yeah.
most of the sprayers did.
That's what, 50 years ago.
my
I was
question-
thinking
my-
maybe Daddy Jag served.
No.
We were in high school. 75.
Champ, when you say when they split the
wasn't
lines,
on
what do you mean by they split the lines?
My house-
We didn't come on till later.
I'm telling you, when I was in the
We
8th
came
grade,
on
Daddy
later,
Jags
man.
was on
President?
council.
We were in the
Hold on.
80s.
Margaret was clerk, and Joseph Hamrock was president at the time.
He's still living.
Okay.
And is this just your house or other homes? You're talking about splitting the lines?
My house,
Just yours?
just mine. 'Cause my house sits on 2 separate systems, city system and a septic tank. And I'm just trying to find out what exactly went on there to match these records we got there from the council meeting that they voted on. It cost the Spinner family a whole lot of money.
I don't understand why they didn't abandon the septic tank and maybe tie into our system. I don't understand that at all.
Well, that's
I'm
why
just saying, I don't understand.
Yeah, well, that's why you want to go back to the minutes to find out exactly what went on.
Wayne, did I understand you to say that he has a sump pump that pumps from the septic tank into the main line?
No, because this floods my basement.
I'm just going with what I thought Wayne said. Maybe I misunderstood.
There's a pump.
Yeah, that's just a temporary, just to get the water out of my
Yeah,
basement.
It's not a permanent thing, it's just
No.
on the floor.
Yes.
So yeah, like, continue your report. I'll get back to you, Champ, on the audience. Let Henry finish his report.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The EQ tank, the spare tank at the wastewater plant, we had to drop that because one of the drain lines were plugged with sludge, and they got that cleaned out. Our SCADA system company called in, they had to adjust the wet well transducer, so the third pump comes on before the flow backs up, because the flow back up, then it'll kind of give it a false reading. So he adjusted that, and now everything's good with that. Just wanted to let you know that since the lift station up on Penn Avenue was upgraded to three-phase, there's been no problems as far as plugging up or anything. We've repaired the chlorine system's pound feed reader, and the yearly inspection is scheduled for May 1st of this year. Going to the other, we're still continuing disconnects of delinquent service accounts, and customer contacts are ongoing, and we continue to post shut-off notices. We've installed 12 new meters and performed routine service calls. Routine compliance samples were sent to Mass Eye Labs. The water treatment plant staff changed out some lighting in the filter gallery. The confined space training that we've mentioned before was held on December 17th, and we've updated our confined space entry equipment. Got a new cable put on the winch, and we got a new secondary fall protector. It would have cost more to get the other one looked at than to buy a new one. Probably double. We helped the pool out, and we winterized the pool concession stand as far as the water system components there. We conducted a sound survey in a couple areas, Battle Run and Alamont actually, and we found nothing as far as the leak. And that's part of the training for the recently hired distribution foreman. And then a modified 24-hour plant operation schedule, which is to be implemented on February 2nd. All good well. That's it for now.
Thank you. As far as the new meters, how many are we, up to now as far as installed? I know with the budgets coming, we'll probably be looking at, into a new year, if we're looking to purchase more. I don't know if I don't want to sitting on too many for too long.
Yeah, we're not gonna be purchasing that many unless we really
Get a
get
good
going
jump
with
on
this.
it.
Yeah.
I got a feeling we're gonna get a pretty good jump. I want to try to schedule at least 15 a week,
Yeah,
something like that.
Okay.
And we need to get the village's services on metered city here. Find out
Yeah.
how our super toilets are doing, how much water they're.
Yeah, once we get the meters in, then we could read monthly, there'll be no more estimates.
Yeah.
It'll make life so much easier.
We're gonna really try to concentrate on getting, these overdue bills.
Yeah.
I told her that's the basic thing I want.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, I just wanted to let you know a question. These delinquent service accounts that we have, the disconnects that you give out, how much time do you give to them before you turn their water off?
The first one we give is 10 days, it's 10 calendar days.
The second,
Then we'll put a 24-hour notice on. If we don't get any
you put a $25 fine on it, you said?
There's,
what you're
I think it's
24-hour notice.
24-hour notice.
Oh, okay. And then how many of these, how long after that do you shut it off?
Usually somebody will call, and they'll come down and they'll make a payment on their bill, but there's other times we'll shut it off the next day.
Okay. Can I just ask, just approximation, how much money are we talking about in delinquent water accounts? Do you have any idea?
I don't have an exact figure, I can get that
Just
for you.
around, I was just curious.
The-
Because I know when I was here a long time ago,
Yeah.
there were like, I swear $100,000 over in just lake water. And I was just curious if that's gotten any better or is it?
No, I
more?
think it's higher than
It's
that.
about that,
But,
yeah.
some of it's things that are inactive accounts, they're still showing up. We got,
What does the village do to file against these people who don't pay the water bill? Do you-
well, we're gonna look into this year, putting a lot of this on the property tax in September of the property owner.
The property owners?
Yeah, it'll go in their name. And it'll be on the property.
I was just curious.
And we have to be very careful because
just
still
Just
will
so
get beat
everybody
up with that.
understands,
Yeah, I was just
you
curious
can
how it's
only
handled.
you can only put a lien on the property if the owner lives at the property. If
Wow.
it's a rental, you can't do it.
No, I was just curious how you handled that.
I know we've got somebody sitting in the back who wants to talk about that. Who has a couple of properties that have old liens on them that he just
And
purchased.
we'll get to him on, on participation. Go
Okay.
ahead, Wayne.
Okay. That's it for now.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Chief Sagan, have anything?
Yeah, our computer systems all upgraded, all new. I want to thank Kyle, the IT department. He helped put the Microsoft stuff on to save us money from repurchasing. The new, more Microsoft, also McAfee. The bank robber, Trent Travis is in custody. We got him today. Steubenville County and I went up there and served the warrant on him. He was in his house. 4003 is going to be down for a while. I don't know if you've been up there, Bob. It's in pieces. Mike caught a water leak in a new
What's down?
motors.
What did you say?
Mike Allen, he caught a water leak and
4003.
4003. It's up on the rack. It's probably gonna take, well, I guess I can't spend money to get it fixed until budget's done, unless I can spend it.
How much you looking at?
I don't know. The whole top motor's off because it's internal water pump. We didn't catch it in time, it blew the whole motor apart and cost about $6,000. Yes, so he
Just
caught
the
it.
parts?
Huh?
Is the parts for 6,000?
No, the new motor, because how it goes is it runs the water pump runs the timing chain. The water pump went out, locked up, blew the timing chain, will take the heads out. So he caught it in time. Maybe a couple thousand of parts. I don't know offhand. I got to talk to Mike on it because he just got the covers, everything off of it, and buying tools to try to get it save us
This
money.
one of the new cruisers?
403, yes, one of our new ones. Seems like a common problem on 96,000 miles. Water pumps are going to be going out of them. Usually you just have one car, the same problem usually happens again. So, but he is saving a lot of money from sending the videos, he's gonna do it himself. It saves a lot of money.
Can you get that estimate?
I can get a hold of Bob, not Bob, it's Mike. What's up with our detective? I know we voted back to put him on in October. I know you did several readings. There's supposed to be a third reading.
It should have happened at the last council meeting, I think.
Nobody did anything, just tabled it and never did anything. I hear nothing.
I know it's had at least two.
Yes, we need a third reading so I can start polygraph, psych test on him. I mean, we did this
Yeah.
back in October. And
I
we're
agree.
sitting in
I have no
January.
idea why it wasn't done at the last meeting.
I know our departments are hiring new guys and stuff, so I don't know what the concern about layoffs are. Because water department goes out, they'll go down. Water department's gonna lose money, sewer's gonna lose money, so everybody's gonna lose money. So,
How much carryover you have, Joe?
I had over 14,000, roughly 14,000 carryovers. That should have paid for the detective. And plus there's some money sitting in
What's
the
that
fund.
fund?
There's, I think, 17,000, a little bit around that. I think last time Kim said.
Jags, do you know how much is in that fund?
In the drug fund?
Yes, around
I
17.
think it's about 16,000.
16, 17, something like that. I can't remember offhand. We had about $14,000 carryover.
Did we do something on the 10th? That's what we're looking through here now.
We should have, but I don't think we did.
No,
No, nothing
We
was
didn't
voted
do a
last time.
third reading.
we brought the table it, and nobody seconded. Jaggers.
What's that?
I brought the table it, and nobody seconded it, and died.
Okay.
It should have had its
Never
third
voted
reading.
on the third one either.
It should have had its third reading after nobody seconded tabling it.
I know it never got a third reading.
Yeah.
I was figuring that day for the third reading, but After that, we answered around 3,200 calls. I hope I'll have my report done by the next council meeting, full detailed report, how many arrests we made and everything. I want to thank my guys. They answered a lot of calls. I think Officer Hartsock answered over 1,000 calls by himself again for another season year. They had some bad calls. This Christmas we had a domestic, shots were fired at it. Subject seems to have bonded out now, but he was in custody. Thank God we had an extra guy out for holidays. I know some councilmen question why I have extra guys out on holidays. That's one reason. People are drinking and family members are going to house and they're not, still telling their guys are outnumbered. That's all I have to say.
All right, thanks, Joe. Chief Wright, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. I'd like to commend a couple guys in the fire department. We've delivered 2 babies out in the field in the past month. And also, I just want to inform you guys that there's a very good possibility that I'm going to retire here within the coming days. I'm taking some time off, reflecting back. I'm having some health issues. And apparently the new personnel just don't have the same attitude and outlook on what I feel the future of the department should be and the type of service we should provide. So I just want to let you know that there's a very good chance that I probably can be turned into my notice here very shortly. And also Assistant Chief Ray Hall will be probably just a few weeks behind me. He's also looking at retiring as well. So you're losing like 60 years of seniority and experience in just a matter of probably a month.
Better get your ear out again, boy.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. We'll talk.
All right.
Let's see here. Any committee reports?
Where are you starting at?
You gotta, anybody who wants to raise your hand,
I
any
got-
chairman?
Yeah, I got recreation.
Yes.
We had recreation board meeting on the 7th. Myself, Mike Herrick and Jody Lynn was here, Paul Smith was here, Jeff Schultz was here, and Pat Crandall was here. We did schedule some concerts, June 22nd, June 29th, 6:30 to 8:30, July 20th, July 27th, 6:30 to 8:30. We talked about the new shelter house we want to build down towards the basketball court. We talked about the drain behind the stage. We're having a lot of problems up there. Community days was brought up. Bobby did hold some dates for community days.
I think it's the 30th, 1st, and 2nd. I have to look.
It is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Also on the
July
21st of
31st,
August.
August 1st and 2nd.
On the 21st of August, we're going to have a swim party for all the employees. I think that's on a Friday.
Yeah, it is.
I'll get back to you some more stuff on that. August the 5th, the city's going to sponsor a oldie group at the park. And I forgot to bring this up to you at the meeting. The splash pad is we're probably going to start working on it pretty soon, right? You have a date?
Yep, I don't have a date yet, but.
He is
yeah,
coming in, right?
He is coming in, yep.
We already paid for some
Yes, we
of
did.
the work.
Well, it should be totally paid for,
Totally
as
paid
far as
for.
I know, yes.
So, once the splash pad's fixed,
It'll be up to where it's
it's
supposed to be.
hands off.
Yeah, it will definitely be hands off.
Hands off.
So it'll
Locked up.
shut off,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
turn
The whole
on,
thing
and
like
it used
supposed to
to.
do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for $355,000 it should do
yeah,
something.
yeah, it's just ridiculous what's happened down there.
I have talked to Boss Ferroni, about the fields. They're gonna start working on the fields again. It was brought up to me a couple of times about the dirt disappearing. I don't know where the dirt went to. I have no idea, and I could care less anymore. I've talked to certain people, and I got green, blue, yellow, red, white, pickup trucks, dump trucks, backhoes, tractors, everything else, different colors. So I have no idea who took it. So if anybody wants to say I took the dirt, you know, we'll take it back. Two truckloads of dirt.
Yeah.
They're gonna buy new dirt. Mayor, if I have problems with something else, some other committee, I gotta notify them, what do you want me to do?
What's that?
I wanna ask about, I'll come in, I go to water, I got water too now. That's all I got on that. Water. We'll have a water board meeting January 21st, 7 o'clock at the Waterworks with Wayne, Bobby, the mayor, me, Satch, and Ed. And I will make sure it's in the paper. Jack, you want to make sure it's in the paper?
Yeah, January 21st, 7 o'clock.
Right.
Where at?
At the
Water
Waterworks.
Plant?
Something else to put in the paper, this newspaper, the gas. Put your phone on silence. Maybe I don't understand what that means.
I usually say that, I messed up, sorry.
Thanks.
What's this one, Jack?
Newspaper, could we put something in about the gas and oil people, who we picked to be our distributors? You know, you're gonna put it on Facebook, you're gonna put it on here, we should put it in a newspaper. And I guess they're not here, so I don't see anybody here, so.
No, he said he wasn't gonna be at this meeting. He'll be at the next meeting. He's working the spelling bee
Gas and
tonight.
electric, okay, gas and electric.
Who do we pick, Smitty? Who's our?
Constellation
Yeah.
is the gas.
Who said he was gonna be here next?
Mark said he would be here at the last meeting of the month. Speaking of which, I'd like to get a resolution for all the council meetings that he's done for us. Mark Law with the Herald Star is retiring. Next council meeting will be his last
When I get done, you can make a motion.
his
We'll do it.
last show, yeah.
I'm going back to the rental property. I don't know who that would be under, rental property. What committee?
Hey,
No committee is under.
It's like property maintenance, wouldn't it be?
who's the electric under? Constellations for gas, who you got for electric?
I don't know exactly.
Dominion?
I'll have to look at it. I don't know.
Dominion sounds right, but I don't know.
I'm not sure. Well, I know we had Dominion. I don't know if we stay with them.
Anyhow, we have this thing for rental property. That we
Registrations.
Have everybody register, pay a certain fee. Just-
I don't think so.
Nobody's got any chance to do it. Well, we have a part-time secretary wandering around here. Just let her do it. I mean, she, wants to do some hours, give her some hours.
Yeah, I don't know how far it got. What,
Well, I know that Judy was doing it, basically on the limited time she had. I don't know that, anything else. I know there were a number of people registered. I also know there are some people that haven't registered. But somebody needs to be on top of, somebody needs to be looking at that on a regular basis anyway. I mean, we can send letters out if I know, I can draft a letter that they can send out as long as we know who we're sending it to.
Well, I talked earlier to somebody, we got people putting mattresses out, people putting this out, the first of the month, and they don't pick up the last of the month. Who owns the property? Well, we don't know who owns the property because it's a rental. If we had this listed, who owns it, we could go after them, but we're dragging our feet on this. So I just think that, we have a secretary that's working in different places, she could probably pick some of this up.
Feel bad making the people who have registered and paid, because some people have paid multiple times already, while we're not forcing it on a lot of the people who aren't complying.
Adam,
You know what I mean?
we're dragging our feet.
Yeah, I mean, but some people are actually abiding and paying it, on time and, multiple times already, while a lot of people are just saying, forget you.
can down the
It's not
road?
fair to the people who are actually following.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any else committee chairmen
Sure.
have anything?
You got resolution?
Oh, yeah, no, I just want to make a resolution for Mark Law for his next and last meeting that he'll have before he retires with the Herald Star.
Need a second?
Yeah, a second. Vote on it.
Yeah, second.
For your service here at Mingo Junction as a newspaper reporter, Herald Star. Right?
Yep.
And the revitalization committee did well for us with that too.
All around good guy, he will be missed. And are we voting on that?
So,
Roll call.
vote.
Yeah.
Vote.
Rattell,
Yes?
Herrick,
Yes?
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
You'll take care of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more too.
Yes.
I'd also like to make a motion that we do a resolution for former Councilman Jeff Schutz for all of the stuff that he has done for this village while he was a councilman, including Family Fun Day at the pool, help with community days, the whole concert series in the park, Halloween Fun Fest.
He's not done yet, though. Second that motion.
Yeah, we appreciate everything you've done, Jeff, and we appreciate you. And thank you for all the help and everything that you did on council. And I'm gonna miss you.
Thanks.
I felt right at home looking back there and seeing you closing your eyes.
It's really hot in this room.
It is. But I felt like, hey,
Jeff, before you leave, I need you to sign a resolution for something you did earlier this year.
Okay.
Who hasn't signed those? There's a bunch of them out there, though.
George needs to sign a couple of them.
Here's that one for the landfill. It needs,
George needs to
Yeah,
sign that one.
Chief, has to get out here. It has to get out here.
Everything's okay, don't worry.
Roll call for the Schutz resolution.
Herrick,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Keeler.
Yes.
Hamlet.
Yes.
Rattell.
Yes.
One more.
Yes.
Since we just talked about water, I want to talk about December water bills. Did we figure out what exactly happened and make it so that it will not happen again?
We can never guarantee it won't happen again, because we send them out and then other people actually have to take them. It was a post office problem. I think we actually got a letter from the post office that stated it was a post office problem.
Was it like because it was Christmas time? I mean, so next year, do we need to get them out earlier? Is there anything that we can do to help with the problem, facilitate
They
that
went
it doesn't
somewhere
happen
else. Some
again?
bills went somewhere
went
else.
Didn't we go to Michigan?
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of,
What I thought.
one of the problems I found out from something that I was supposed to have delivered in talking to the post office is that they have a lot of summer help. And as you know, everything now goes through Pittsburgh. They had a lot of summer help, and there were employees that were keep putting stuff in the wrong bin. So when they might pick up a bin that says North Carolina or Michigan or whatever, but it's labeled incorrectly on the bin. So that's where it goes. It goes on the truck, that's where it goes. I actually had a package go from North Carolina, it was supposed to come to my house, I actually got to Pittsburgh and then went to California. So, you know, that was the explanation I got.
Things happen that are out of our control. I mean, I don't know what else you can do about it.
And I would like, I mean, if somebody's off one day or whatever, when bills are due, I wish some council people would go up there and just sit in that water office and see the abuse they are taking. I mean, you don't understand, these people just don't care who it is, and when Wayne walks in, I think it's straight enough. But you got the people up there, all they're doing is collecting the money. These people come in and want to scream and holler. Joe's across the hall, they'll come over a lot of times. But I just wish, council thinks it's so easy, I'm not saying it though, but it's not, I sit in there and it's a tough job. That's a tough
So
job.
if one of us go down there
Yeah.
and something happens and I get involved in something, who's gonna pay my bond?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm gonna smack somebody.
Maybe we
Have a
should
police
have our
officer.
If you're
personnel.
standing there, you know what, Jack?
Get a
They'll
police
change.
officer there or get a deputy sheriff there.
When they're all coming in and they're complaining about their bills, this, that, there, and the people working in there, all they're telling, hey, I just worked here, I don't know,
And it might be a good
I would
idea to
say
have
if there's-
somebody up there, like especially the day that they're due, have a police officer in there or something to make sure that, we put up the glass and everything because of the abuse. But I definitely will agree that maybe we need to have some law enforcement standing in there because they don't need to take this. And the people giving the abuse are the ones that are behind on their bills and haven't paid their bills, but they're gonna blame us for it, so.
If you've got repeat offenders, can you tell them they're not allowed to come down anymore? I mean, they can mail it in,
it's
or they
everybody.
can do it
Yeah, trust me,
online,
It
or,
depends on what day it is, it's
Yeah,
not just
it's-
one person, it's just.
I mean, if you had repeat people who were constantly ignorant and rude when they came in, if there was something that you could physically
Well-
tell them they could not come in anymore to do it. They would have to pay
I
their
don't know
bill
if we can do that or
by
not.
mail,
Let's
or,
get some lawyer to represent the mattress, it's like we've already
Actually,
had.
I'm just saying, that's just the thing,
99.9, almost station, I hear somebody yelling on over there. And mostly the argument is, somebody's made a deal on a bill and what the deal was or whatever, and that's what they're upset about because they have to pay the bill on what deal. That's what a lot of the argument's about.
Well, there's gonna be no deals here soon. As a matter of fact, I don't think there are deals now. We tried to help some folks out, and it didn't really backfire on us because we did collect a lot of money, but it's just some of these people, and it was very difficult to track. But from this point on, you know, I don't want any deals at all. But people gotta understand though, you know, when you shut somebody off, you lose that revenue too. Okay? So if you can get somebody to pay a $1,000 bill, which we shouldn't have to begin with, half of that bill, and then they're gonna come back down and pay the other half, you know, you try to get that money. Try to get as much as you can.
I'm assuming if it's that much, it was when it was a quarterly bill, and it's not a
Well-
monthly that's just added up to.
Well, let me tell you something, we still have some issues with that, and I'm hoping that he's going to be able to clean that up. We're still having issues with that.
With monthly?
Monthly
Once?
bills, yeah, we still have some issues that we're still working on.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm gonna go 3 minutes, audience participation, let's extend it longer. I'm looking at you. Do you have anything? Okay. Patty? You're always back here smiling. You know that? Jeff? You got anything? Back to you. Got to stand up, state your name.
Yep, my name's Dylan Kazuka. I'm one of the people here to complain about water bills.
Can you spell
So-
your name for me, please?
Dylan, D-Y-L-A-N, Kazoka, C-Z-O-K-A.
Your address?
So in the end of December, I purchased 4 properties off of a name that is apparently well-known across the council and the water department. I purchased it, and to my admittance, I didn't do my full due diligence, and there was $3,000 in water debts on 3 of the 4 properties. When I came to turn them over, I was told this. I asked, how was it able to get to $1,000 per property? And I was told that I would be getting a call from Mr. Smith the week later, after I'd already stopped in the water department 2 more times. A week later, one of my tenants, her water got shut off. No advance on this at all. Actually, 2 of my tenants, the other ones there were working when all this happened. One of my tenants was at home, no advance, water got shut off. I'm at work trying to scramble to get her water turned back on because I was told that somebody was supposed to contact me and tell me what was going to happen with this situation because apparently the individual who I bought these properties off of, there's been a slew of issues and they're trying to compile it all together. I call down to the water department, water utilities. I try to find out why the water's been shut off. They tell me that I need to pay the bills. And I said, well, I was told not to pay anything until I spoke to people from the village building. And later on, I am told, okay, you pay half of the 2, we'll turn the water back on. And later on, I talked to Mr. Ruckman, and I was told one story, and the water got turned back on, and I'm thankful for that. I truly am. The water got turned back on, but then an hour later, I was told a different story about what was going to be happening with these debts. And then once again, I had left a message for Mr. Smith to call me, and I had nothing. And this has been going on for 2 weeks. Also, I was told by water utilities that I was supposed to have the properties transferred to my name, so they knew they were in my name, so that they wouldn't get shut off, but I had done that the week before. I signed the papers and all.
So you've got 4 properties?
Yes.
You did your research on the title and found out they were okay, but you didn't do your research on past due water bills,
On
which quite
utilities,
honestly,
yes.
Dylan, I would have never thought to do that either.
I had a title search in the past, or I had 2 in the past that actually covered water bills. One of them was in Mingo. That was, like I said, that was my fault. I did not double check that. But my concern is that bills have been racked up to $1,000 and the individual is known by name across the council and the water department, utilities, everybody, and now I'm just thrown into this.
Does this person still live in Mingo? I don't know who
Yes.
who you bought. I don't know the man's name, and I don't necessarily want it said here. I don't care, but are we doing something about this guy?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm thinking that he
We'll
should
take
pay
care
his
of
own water bills,
I need
right?
answers.
I mean, I could say.
Well, what we'll do is
I don't
like
wanna-
you bought it.
I don't wanna say.
Yeah, this isn't gonna go any further. You, if you bought the property, really, we can't get the money off of you anyhow, we bought the properties. I can't get any money from you. I'm calling the real estate places right now saying, hey, if you sell properties in Mingo, you better check with our water department to make sure there's no bills on it. We will take care of it. It's really not your fault. It's not your fault.
Is that the only utility that's?
And that's what the problem is, and like I told you, Wayne, this is where we're at, and this has got to be taken care of.
Now,
This is where we're
Dylan,
at.
you heard earlier, we were talking about rental registration. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you
for the
will
past
need
2 years,
to.
I do the
Okay.
registration.
Thank you.
I'll be honest, I just acquired these 2 new tenants. I haven't done it yet because I'm doing a step-by-step process and I can't get past the water issue. And I've been waiting just 2 weeks. I just wanted an answer because I've been thrown in limbo. Every time that I come down here, every time I call anybody, nobody seems to communicate. That is kind of what threw the whole thing into the wind last Friday when water got turned off. And I just want an answer. I mean, calling, leaving messages, nothing happened. I had to come down here tonight to get an answer of what do I need to do.
Being honest with you, though, I mean, I was there Friday, and I just seen your number on the desk, and then Wayne, you and Drew made whatever it was supposed to do something today, but parties don't show up, which, you know what I'm talking about. But I just seen it Friday night, because I says, this is related to somebody, I seen your number, and I got some information on what was going on. But, and, I would apologize, and hope we'll get things straightened out. Because I know what you're talking about, who you're talking about.
And again, I need an answer on my end. I need somebody to tell me what I need to do here. Is it nothing, or do I need to do something more?
On the lane.
I don't think you
Like you
have,
said about the past, those,
I don't think you have to do anything.
the debts that was incurred from the other previous owner,
Yeah.
you're okay with that?
Okay.
You just have to apply for your 2 new rental
Absolutely.
properties
I'll do
here
that this week,
soon.
But like I said, I need an
Was the
answer.
water still on when you moved your tenants in there?
Yes.
That should have been.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yes, sir.
Champ. Continue.
Yes, I just like, see, can I get those records from that time?
Okay, it's gonna, probably gonna take.
I'll tell Judy to start looking for them, and I'm not gonna guarantee anything. I'll try, Jim. I mean, I don't.
Hopefully
I don't know
they're
what
not
we have.
stored downstairs
I don't
where
know
we've
what we have
had
downstairs.
floods and floods and
Yeah, 'cause
floods.
the stuff downstairs was destroyed.
A lot of
We've had
stuff.
2 floods down there and it was destroyed.
Because I couldn't even find, you had records of the sewer lines that lead to my house. They had no records of that. Those records are gone. I had the only copy of that.
So you have a copy of an agreement though between us, you and the
Yes.
village.
Yes,
Can we get a copy of that also? Can you make a
Yes.
copy of that to
yes.
let us look at it?
The way that looks to me is they added you on after after those sewers were in there, they added that house on. Maybe that was done in the 50s or the 40s, and then
The house was
they
there.
added your house on. So due to the fact that you had a septic tank originally,
Mhm.
and then the one that's tied into our sewer system is up off the floor in your house, coming out the wall.
Coming out the
Just
wall,
to-
then it
to get enough
gradually-
fall,
yes.
which is barely enough fall.
Barely enough.
So I don't know if it was an add-on, but you showed me those papers today.
Yes.
One of them was a tap fee, the date's on there when
Yeah.
they tapped in.
Tapped in, date.
That is the legal paper he's got right
Yes,
there.
and all this was up there.
When he tapped in.
In Steubenville at County Records. And I asked just for the records, I see the lines, map of the lines, and they didn't even know it was tied in.
Yeah, and there's nothing on mine, it shows 4 houses with septic going down through there. And those maps were done 4 years ago. And when I popped the manhole lid, there is in that manhole a line heading towards down his side of the street. So we went and ran the vac truck, dye tested, and confirmed that the line coming out of his basement doesn't hook into our sanitary. So he is tapped in, according to his paper, he's tapped in, I confirm he's tapped in.
But I tried to inform them of this, and of course, they said, nah, it couldn't be. And my wife had records and stuff where they did a smoke test on this probably 10 years ago. And of course, no one knows about that. Our record keeping is horrible.
Yeah.
or put it this way, our record keeping is not consistent of keeping it where you have to go back and look at any history.
How long are we mandated to keep records, Ernie?
It varies.
Depending on like minutes versus
Minutes versus ordinances. versus
contracts versus.
Contracts. Police records have their own time schedule. Fire records have their own, so it would just depend. And I'd really have to look at, you know, what we have. But the times vary according to what the record is and what department.
And that's where this gentleman probably, if we'd had proper records, he would not be in it, sitting here now trying to talk to the city.
Kyle, would there be any way, for whatever records we find, of putting them in some kind of a database or something, so if paper records get destroyed, we have a record store?
Michael's good with databases, I am not. I've never messed with databases. I think the issue here, by him wanting the minutes, is because I've been told that there's a piece of paper that says he's only liable for half of his sewer bill, because half of his house goes into the septic, the other half goes into us. So he has a piece of paper somewhere stating that he only has to pay half a bill. He's been paying a whole bill ever since. Nobody ever confirmed what he was telling them, that he had one line in his house coming to Mingo Sanitary, and yet nobody bothered to check. I took it upon myself to get to the bottom of this, and I've been working all week long, and I confirmed exactly what this man has said. He's got two lines, he paid for a tap. One of them is kitchens and stuff like that, we call it dray water. It's been coming into us all along. The septic tank has failed. Now he has a problem, he has to do something. He wanted to know and get this all sorted out so he can move forward and replumb his house into ours. That's all I have to say on that.
My question is, this is the first I'm hearing of this, so how was I supposed to know anything, or anybody else?
I heard about a month ago, and that we finally got to
It's a month ago, okay. This is 1975.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard anything.
1975, I mean, you know.
20 years or 10 years, but when you brought it up in front,
Yes.
like you said, a month,
And-
last month, before the holiday, or after the holiday.
I mean, Champ, I mean, you've been down here a long time, you know.
And
Have you told him?
I even approached the mayor and I approached Timmy about this.
Approach me on what?
The half price that you should be paying
You
half.
wanted your septic tank cleaned out, and we don't clean
Yeah.
septic tanks out.
Okay, that was just lately. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, but I'm talking about the half price. I mean, I didn't know you were supposed to be paying half the bill.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's
okay.
why I'm looking to see what you have on record.
Like I said, we'll do the best we can to try to look something up. And 40 years ago, like I
We
said, we'll
have
do
yet
the
to
best we can.
see the paper from Champ that actually says half of it he doesn't have to pay. He needs to produce that, or the village
Okay.
needs to come up with it, but he has a lot of documentation, but Mr. Ruckman and I have not seen the paper yet that says he only pays half of the sewer bill. I assume
I'm
that,
going with Bobby, because now why is this coming to our attention? I mean,
I
why
would-
didn't last year,
I would
2
say
years
because
ago?
everybody else ignored it. He tried to get answers. Everybody else in the wastewater department or
And I asked
whatever
for.
didn't do anything about
The
it.
lines, maps of the lines.
Why didn't you come to council before? That's what I'm asking you. Why didn't you come to council before?
Well, I'm here.
I think he's had this problem now for about 2 months. You've been actually pumping from that basement. How long?
40 years is different than 2 months.
How long have you been pumping from your basement into the other line because your tank has failed?
Maybe a week,
Did we clean that septic tank out once?
once,
Twice?
I heard
Why-
twice.
why?
He says once.
once.
Why does he have to have? Because the basement floor is below the sewer level, okay? Just like it is
Pump it
here.
up.
Same thing as it is
downhill.
here. You gotta buy a pump station to get it back up. His basement's too low for the sewer. So you gotta buy a pump station, just like you do in the basement here. We pump it from here out into the sewers. I have a manhole, I have one in my backyard. I had to take it out.
I thought all the septic was out, except for we don't have, where we don't have.
If yours is sewer, you're supposed to put it into it. You're supposed to.
Went down George's room, they made us all do it. $3,000 tap, you had to do it. Got rid of all the septic tanks.
But that's the first time I've ever heard of this. I mean, I've been.
Same here, Chan, I'm not trying to say anything, this is the first time I'm really hearing about this, about the issue.
It was a good one. That's the best one I've heard since I've been here as far as going back to 75.
That's where it stands right there.
His paperwork, from what I saw, it shows you paid half a tap fee, they gave you like a 50%.
Because we only tapped in half
The
of the
assessment.
line, yes, and we only
Half
went
of the house.
from the bathroom and the rec room and all that. The kitchen and the laundry room is on the septic, there's nothing going into there. But water.
Like you say, he'll talk to Julie and we'll start rambling through things down there. Like you say, there's a lot of stuff down there. You're more welcome to come look too.
That secretary that's Roman, she can go down.
All right, Denny, anything else?
No, I just want this thing solved. It's a mess. The whole neighborhood's uproar about everything. And if this stays the way it is now, and they go up there and start excavating, there's gonna be problems.
All right, we're gonna
We're
get
not
something.
gonna do anything yet.
I mean,
Danny.
I hate to come down here and argue, and I normally don't.
That's fine.
We're not
I
gonna do
don't
anything.
want Adam to have hard feelings, but it's so far out of hand. The kid's house got egged the other day because of shit like that. And we're not accusing anybody.
No, that's right.
We have a good idea, but we don't know. We're not accusing anybody, but it's getting to the point where now, every time they come out of the house, there's an argument about something. And it's not just us, it's the whole neighborhood. So I would just like to get things solved, deal with Adam. I mean, I understand there's a problem. And
I don't understand some of this, I'm just waiting on the report, and hopefully they can explain it,
Yeah, I'm
because
with you,
some
man.
of them
I
don't
don't
make sense to
agree
me, but we'll see.
Well,
I'm not a surveyor, so.
where these
We're
pins.
gonna try to get
go
this
down.
taken care of because,
I'm
I
just
think
kidding.
I think if we all take a look at this and give a little bit, I think that we could be okay up there. I believe that.
All right.
Without the
Like you said-
overtime.
like Bob said, he's gonna try to
Yeah,
get you guys together.
It's just gotten so far out of hand that that's all. This is my
Because-
son, and this is the other people who live right next door.
I know, he was on there, yeah.
I'm just tired of calling the cops for ridiculous stuff. They have other more important things to do rather than dealing, our neighborhood's been,
I understand.
I've been in the neighborhood now 12 years and went from a quiet neighborhood to you gotta watch what you do, you gotta do this and everything, and it's just getting old.
Well,
And, if it's gonna take half of my house out, I ain't paying for it.
is there anything else? Yes, Kyle?
There was a resolution for Bruce Snyder for being Man of the Year. I just want to know if it got signed tonight. Ernie,
It's there for them to
that's
pass
what I would
tonight.
like to hear. It wasn't mentioned during council, so I thought I'd bring it up and see how far we got along with this thing.
It was brought up last time, actually.
It was
George
at the last
isn't-
meeting.
George isn't here, so that's why it wasn't, he's the chairman of that committee.
So I gotta wait for him to sign it, right?
No, not really. We got Adam and Pat on that.
Council has to pass it.
Pass it too, yeah.
It was already
Ordinance
passed.
committee
I thought it was
bring it
passed
up.
already.
It was already passed the very first
No,
time.
no, it was, it
Proposed.
was passed, it was a proposal to bring in a resolution, but the resolution itself has to be passed. You don't just say,
I disagree. with
it's a
that.
resolution, that's the end of it. There's a process of passing a resolution, and the resolution is here. There's an ordinance and a resolution for you to pass today.
I come to most of the council meetings, and I remember passing the resolution. If you said it didn't get done, I'm not gonna question it. My main goal is to get this guy this proclamation that he deserves. It's been 4 months, and I gotta keep coming in and saying, what's going on?
Thank you, Kyle. We
Yeah,
get
You're
your
welcome,
point.
Mayor. Let's get it done, please.
Kyle,
Thank you.
don't come in here and throw your weight around, okay?
It's like
I understand
he
what you're
said-
saying. We're gonna
like he
do it.
said, dropping the ball. Thank you, Mayor.
Here it is right here.
I appreciate it.
tell you right now, Kyle, you come in here quick, because you're a union guy, you're gonna get out.
That's not
Mayor, we
it,
gotta
Mayor.
sign that. You gotta sign that.
You had people come in here, Mayor, from,
Hey.
don't do the landfill. You
No,
had
that's
people
enough.
come in one day, don't do the
No,
landfill.
that's
4
enough.
days later, they had their paper.
Joey, take him out of here. They ain't gonna get it, I knew that.
Oh, just give me that paper, let me sign it. Don't be starting to argue.
We need to read those tonight, maybe we can,
Yeah.
we can just read them.
Yeah.
You also have, you have an ordinance for
Okay.
temporary appropriations that has to be done, it should be done tonight so you can spend money.
Copy that temporary appropriation ordinance?
Yeah.
It's on the desk,
Not here.
it's on the desk over there, unless they.
Over here?
Yeah, that's.
That's the Bruce Snyder thing, yeah, it should be under here. This is it.
I'm sure you do.
We got copies of everything. You know it pretty well, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's just, okay. Just another.
We just read that resolution. And then the ordinance, suspend and do all three.
Yeah.
Mayor, give me that one we can sign. For Bruce.
Go ahead and read that resolution.
Yeah, you're out.
Okay.
Why don't you start with the ordinance since they're numbered that way?
Okay, yeah, good point, yeah. Okay, we'll start with ordinance 2020-1. First ordinance of 2020-1. It's an ordinance to make temporary appropriations to provide for the operation of the municipal departments of the Village of Mingo Junction, Ohio, for the period from January 1, 2020 through March 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency.
That's not what he was talking about. Mayor?
Go ahead.
I move that a rule requiring an ordinance to be read by title only on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with. An ordinance number 2020-1 be given its second and third readings at this time by title only and placed before this council for its passage or rejection.
Second.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Tremblay.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2020-1, an ordinance to make temporary appropriations to provide for the operation of the municipal departments of the Village of Mingo Junction, Ohio, for the period from January 1, 2020 through March 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency. All right, third reading, ordinance 2020-1, an ordinance to make temporary appropriations to provide for the operation of the municipal departments of the Village of Mingo Junction for the period from January 1 through March 31st, and declaring an emergency.
I move that ordinance 2020-1 be adopted this time.
Second.
Healer.
Yes.
Tremblay. Yes. Patel.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Ordinance 2020-1 approved. Now, we'll move on to the resolution. Resolution 2020-2. It's a resolution to commend Bruce Snyder of the Village of Wintersville on being named Wastewater Operator of the Year by Ohio Rural Water Association for 2019.
Just need one reading.
Vote to approve it, run
Need
through it.
motion to adopt it.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2020-2, a resolution to commend Bruce Snyder of the Village of Wintersville on being named Wastewater Operator Treatment of the Year by the Ohio Rural Water Association for 2019.
Second.
Tremblay.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Healer.
Yes.
Does he still work for us?
Mhm.
That's all for tonight, Mayor.
Do we not have the third reading?
Oh, do you want third
Or do we,
reading on that?
or do we wait? I don't know.
Resolution, you just need, that resolution, you need one reading.
No, I'm talking about the detective ordinance.
Yeah, I wanna look at- it's up to you guys. I don't know what we can do.
It's the third and final reading, unless we're waiting for George. I don't-
What's it do? Doesn't matter to me.
I mean, he needs to, I would think you need to move forward. I don't care.
Was the motion, was it tabled or just got?
It wasn't
two
on the
readings?
table, it just has had 2 readings so far. That's it.
Okay. Then you should give it a third, you can give it a third reading.
Does anyone have a copy handy of that one?
Oh, I don't know where my stuff in.
I don't know, detective.
What's that?
Nothing, that's what it's for, right?
Yeah.
Does anyone have a copy of that one?
I don't know.
At
With
home.
me. It might be in my
Oh, it's
car.
here too. You have it in the stack, Jags? An ordinance to amend the table organization?
No. Wrong
That's
one.
what it would be, yeah.
Yeah. 2019-30,
Probably.
an ordinance to amend the table organization of the Village of Mingo Junction.
All to include a detective.
Right.
Okay.
See if it says it in there.
Well, it just, the only thing it says is we have 4 patrolmen and we raised it to 5. It's up to Joe to assign who's gonna be the detective.
Does it say 5 in there?
Says Police Chief 1, Patrolman 5, Patrolman 2. It's kind of weird. Let me show you this next so you can make sure this is the one that's what we're doing.
It's, yeah, it's full-time 5, part-time 2.
Yeah, let's see here. Chief, 1, 5 patrolmen, and it has 3 or 2 part-time.
Oh, okay, yeah, full-time, part-time.
Right.
5 full, 2 part.
You're right, that's, he can hire 2 part-timers. Same with the fire department. He can hire 5 part-timers.
2 full, 5 part, yeah, okay. Okay, third reading on it, Mayor? All right. We'll give a third reading of ordinance 2019-30. It's an ordinance to amend the table of organizations for the Village of Mingo Junction.
I second.
Oh, you want to motion, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, motion, this sure was
Second, Jody?
I did.
This is,
2019-30.
30.
Yes.
Yes. Bertel,
No.
Herrick,
No.
Jody Lynn,
Yes.
Peeler,
Yes.
Tremblett,
Yes.
That should be it for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. Do you have anything else? With all our resolutions done, ordinances?
What are you gonna do with that one that has to go to the landfill?
I gotta get, Jeff, did you sign? I gotta
Yeah,
get
Jeff.
George, I gotta get George.
What are you gonna do? They need it, right?
Nothing,
Well-
they haven't even filed an application.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, they just wanted to get everything together. I think that, you gotta,
I make a motion we adjourn.
I still have a few things, so.
Hold up. What's this considering, Jody?
I'm sorry.
What is this considering? Was it a committee thing, or was it a regular
No,
council meeting?
it's, I would say under old business, I guess.
Go ahead.
With Mark Baker's recent retirement,
Jody, this is a management matter.
training.
No? No, I'm just gonna ask about cross-training. As far as, with Mark's retirement, we obviously have some people who are, getting up there in age who are gonna be leaving from a lot of our departments around here. And I'm just wondering, when positions become available and the qualifications are put up, how that training is done, or what types of training is needed for certain jobs. And how is that, if somebody wanted to apply for a job that's gonna come open in the next year or so, and there are mandatory things that need done, how does that person go about getting
They
that
go to their
training?
supervisor and try to get the training.
Okay.
I mean, they have to ask.
Do we
to
have,
get the
I
training.
guess, do we have a list of, like, Timmy's position, when he retires? What all does that
We have a
position?
position description, so
So-
I would think that it would talk about what is required of him.
Okay, all the different training that he needs?
I don't know if everything's inclusive, I really don't know that.
That's what I wanted to know. That and, that's good for right now. I'll make it for the next meeting, that's all right.
I'm here.
No, I know, I just, I have some questions and I'm,
Jody, that's
Well, you know, if you got questions about things like that too, you know.
I'll come and talk to you.
Yeah, especially with committee stuff too, I mean, you know, yeah, if you got stuff like that, we can take care of it. You know, we always wanted to mirror what Wintersville was doing, correct? I mean, that was.
No.
I thought that's.
I mean,
I thought that's what
I
you
like
thought.
some of the stuff that they do, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I'm concerned about our record keeping.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about our communication. We've all got one of these, but nobody wants to be on a group text that we can talk back and forth.
I hate social
I know,
media
I know
stuff,
you do.
know.
I know
mean,
you do,
know,
but you know,
I'm
Bob,
not playing that game.
it's the 21st century,
And I think that we do, when we have an issue, like we have back here, you know how many other things that we've taken care of? Okay, so we have one issue, we're gonna blow this out of proportion. I'll take care of the guy back here. So we're gonna bring it out here, we're gonna say, oh, wow, we're terrible at what we do. I don't think we're really terrible here at what we do. I think we have some issues at times, but I don't think we're terrible at what we do. And if you're gonna just take one issue and blow it out of proportion, I don't think that's very fair to us either.
no, I don't either.
Well, well, that's what seems to happen. I mean, you look for something and you try to blow it up, okay?
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, Jack, we got a motion to adjourn?
Hold on, one more thing. Are you the deputy clerk? Are you considered the deputy clerk, or is that Kim? Okay, because has anybody looked at the audit report that was sent to us back in November? All right, well, we got gigged for our deputy clerk not getting proper training that's available through the finance department. There were like four things on this list. It came to us back in November.
Email?
Yeah. I've got a copy of it somewhere.
You know about it, Mr. Huggins? Do you receive a letter from it?
We all did. It was from the auditors, the auditor's office. Everybody got a letter. They audited us for 2017 and 2018, I
In the
believe it
mail
was.
or on the phone?
No, it came to our email.
I don't, you know.
Village
I don't look at that shit half the time. If they don't send me a piece of paper, I ain't looking at it.
Well,
You know what crap's on
again,
this phone?
Jack, it's the modern age and you have an email for the village. You need to look
I'm
at
72
it.
ye's old, I ain't worried about this.
I don't care how old you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You're on Facebook. You
We got
have a
motion to
social
adjourn.
media
I made
page.
that motion,
We
Mayor.
got a second? That second. Vote?